This is Natalie from Transform Now podcast. And today I'm going to discuss the mind, the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, manifestation, and all of those things that basically connect thoughts, belief, emotion, action all together. I thought being January 16 was a good time at the beginning of the year for us to really discuss all of this. Why do people believe so much in manifestation and it works for them, while others, it doesn't work? It doesn't matter how many vision boards they do, it doesn't matter how many times they write their goals, nothing manifests. So hopefully, this podcast will bring a little bit more of clarity into what really needs to be done in order to get to the point where we actually have the ability to manifest. And it's not just about manifesting, but it's also about not committing self-sabotage, because we do that so often. So let's dive right into the topic of our podcast then. So let's agree first that the physical brain is only a tool used to process information, true and false information. So some of you may be a little bit surprised that I'm saying true or false information. What is that all about? You actually thought all of the memories you remember in vivid details and you are so adamant about them is all true? Well, actually, no, because we actually do not remember most of the information that we are processing. And it's even worse, as the memory may have been years and years and years ago, or you were maybe very young. So your brain, over time, or depending the age of the trauma of the situation at the time, will actually program some information that is false. And as the time goes by and some of the information is getting diluted and we may not quite remember, your brain, your physical brain, is going to try to still connect the dots. You see, your brain doesn't understand blank. So if a part of a story is not remembered, or maybe you have not seen it, you have not witnessed it, but you thought you read it or you thought you heard it, whatever the case is, your physical brain is going to create a story. It's going to create the connection between the 2 points. That creation creates, sorry for the repetitive word then, but it creates false information. So now, a memory that you may be so adamant about it, that you remember the details, or you remember exactly what happened, how it happened, where it happened, some of it may be false. So they tested this actual information on some people who went through 9/11, on multiple people, different age, different trauma, different location, were they closer to the bombing, how old they were they impacted by some loved one, or did they just watch it on the news? So depending how close the trauma was and the maturity of the person at the time, will actually have a different outcome. So they interviewed this woman, this adult woman. She's now an adult. And at the time, she was a child. And she recollected that when 9/11 happened, she was home. She described the apartment where she lived with her parents. She described it was by the water. She could actually hear water sound. She described to the T where she was, what she was doing, where was the apartment, and where her parents were. When they went back into all of this information to figure out what was factual and what was not, the apartment she described was an apartment that they moved after 9/11. The apartment she lived at the time was not next to water, and her mother was not at work at the time. She was in the apartment with her. My point is, the information that is programmed into your physical brain may be true, but they also include false information, false fears, false outcome that you think will happen, but actually it never happened, or you were never exposed to that situation. We're going to also have to agree that everything in our physical earth, including all of the human beings, all of us, are all surrounded by a field of energy. It's this all energy. Therefore, in metaphysical science, all conditions and situations are seen as fields of energy, since everything contains energy, our thoughts, our action, our words. We are all surrounded by field of energy, the plants, animals, water, everything. Then all conditions and situations are also seen as field of energy. Now, those fields can be positive or negative fields of energy. Remember what we say, like attracts like, and that is true. In essence, if you are negative, if your thoughts are negative, if your self-talk is negative, if your view of situations, of people, of your life is negative, your vibrational negativity, if you want to call it that way, energy is going to be attracting like, which are going to attract negative people in return. That is why some people who have an addiction only attract people who have addiction. Some people who are negative, complainers, whiners, only attract complainers, negative, and complainers. People who are successful attract other people who are successful. I always tell my kids, and many of you know I am a single mom. I raised my two kids on my own. And I always told my kids something that you may have been told: be careful to the company you surround yourself with, because they're going to become who you are, or who you are is the company you are attracting, either way. So you really have to ask yourself, what are you attracting? Remember, like attracts like. Because our mind is considered to be magnetic. Why do I call the mind as being magnetic? The process of life, if we agree that we all surrounded things, objects, living things, animals, etc., is all surrounded by energy, of a field of energy, then the process of life itself is basically an exchange of energy between one field to the other. It's an exchange of energy between our thoughts, with our words, with our feelings, and with our actions. It's an exchange of energy between one person to the next, between nature to human, human to water, animals, all of it. So life is just a ongoing exchange of energies, which really can be extremely misunderstood because people are completely underestimating their thoughts and their words that they are spoken with what they are attracting and what energy they are putting out there. So if someone spew negativity, for example, on social media, then they cannot feel happy. It's in complete contradiction, but it has nothing to do with everything that is going on around them. It has to do with them taking that situation as a reality from within themselves and start basically mirroring what the situation is or whatever they perceive to be. So they're going to start spewing negativity, and then they're going to be claiming to want to have love or peace. But do you understand that is a complete contradiction within themselves? So be very careful to the words you are using and your thought process, because all of this will become your actions. I cannot create a vision board with all of this positivity, then turn around and post all negativity or speak negativity or do or conduct self-negative talk and expect all of those wonderful positive goals to be met. Because what is being seen on a vision board, if it doesn't coincide with your thoughts and your words that you speak to yourself or out, and your belief and emotion that you feel, then your action cannot be positive and productive and happy and whatever you need to put out there in order to meet your goals. Let me give you an example. Let's say that I want to start my own company, but my inner talk says, I can never do it. I'll never be successful. There's so many other people better than me. Does anybody really want to buy my products? But I need money. How am I going to pay the bills? So now suddenly those thoughts are turning into feelings, and the feelings is going to be, my God, I can't do it. It's going to be a feeling that is negative. It's almost like this feeling is going to be failure before I even start any action. So it's going into those feelings that I'm already beaten up. I've already failed. My mind sent to my belief and my feelings that it's already over. Remember, I haven't even started it. So what do you think my actions will be? Do you think I'm going to be motivated, inspired? I'm going to do whatever it takes to get that business off the ground? Or am I going to procrastinate? And it will go back to being a dream, a fantasy, an idea that I'm going to push aside so I can go back and do the job that I hate, but at least it's giving me a paycheck. And then I'm going to make a lot of excuses and justification of why I did not act on my idea, because it will make me feel better. So I hope that makes sense to you, what I just explained. So basically, we attract to ourselves in the physical form that which we are thinking on a mental level. It's not good enough to do a vision board or to write a goal, because let me repeat, we attract to ourselves in physical form that which we are thinking on a mental level. So what do you really need with all of that? You need to believe right? If we have no dream, no idea, there's nothing to come down into our subconscious mind, which will transfer to our conscious mind, which will transfer to our heart, which will transfer into our action. So first, there's a dream, then it becomes a belief, then it becomes something positivity, something that you can frame into your conscious mind of an idea that is now becoming more concrete, achievable. It goes into feeling the positivity. Yes, I have become an entrepreneur. I am an entrepreneur. I am successful. People are looking for my product. People buy my products. When this is felt on the heart level, and this emotion is really something you can feel as it is happening, not as something that will happen, but is happening right now. Your mind is going to program, oh, okay, we get it. The information is true, and it is programmed now as being true. She is or he is an entrepreneur. Then that will translate into action. The action will be inspiration, motivation, kicking ass, I can do this, moving forward. All of this will translate into action. It's very hard to then have the negative people around you to take you off track, because somebody that is so committed on every level of the being, including the subconscious mind, it's very hard to take them and push them off the path. So that's also very important, because remember, it doesn't only need you to be positive, but you're going to be coming in contact with people who may not believe in your product or your ability or your idea. They may not give you a good review. They may say you suck. But if you are committed to what you can bring to the table, and you feel it and you know it, then it's going to, one no, one bad review, one negativity is not going to take you off track. And by the way, there are plenty of stories that happen like that, including Colonel Sanders, right, from KFC, or Edison. So read those stories so you can understand, and you will understand more of what I'm talking about right now. For this reason, in metaphysics, the mind is considered magnetic. Hopefully you understand now why it is considered magnetic. It's not just the conscious mind, by the way, that you have to be concerned about, but it's also the subconscious mind. And why the subconscious mind? Because basically, your subconscious mind is like a memory bank that is pushed from, you get it through to your conscious mind first, and it's pushed into your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind can create self-sabotage. That is where you create it. That's why so many clients will say to me, but I don't know why I'm doing this. Why am I doing this? Well, because that memory, that fear, that threat is programmed into your subconscious mind. So how do you fix all of this? And that is where your commitment to living a higher quality of life, to being a better human being, has to come into play. You must be committed to your learning, not just once in a while, not because you are listening to a podcast, but actually every single day. So information that you hear and you are thinking, oh yeah, that makes sense, you must write them down, because remember, your memory, you're going to forget. many of information. So carry a journal, write it down, and then start practicing and practicing every day. So let's talk about 3 mental keys that can help you, that you need to start practicing immediately. Number 1, maintain a positive, conscious mental attitude no matter what happens. So that is a tough one. Can you think about that? To be happy no matter what happens? Well, sometimes life happens, shit happens, and that does not make you happy. So what I have done in my life, I put myself on a timer. And the timer, it could be just 10 minutes, it could be 30 minutes. It's never no more than an hour because I hate to have self-pity or feel down. And I put myself on the timer. When the timer is over, self-pity is over, crying is over, being a victim is over, and I reprogram my conscious mind into back in having a positive outlook. Is it difficult to do? At the beginning it was, and now I am more used to it. So what do I put myself on the timer? Because I don't want the information to get programmed into my subconscious mind. I don't want my subconscious mind to have this negative outcome because it's much harder to reprogram your subconscious mind than your conscious mind. So number 1, let's repeat, maintain a positive conscious mental attitude. Now, sometimes it's easier than other time. For example, don't react so much on social media with your negativity. If you have a trigger, then learn to block that trigger. Don't write negative posts. You don't need to do that. And if you're going to do that, only do one, then delete it, then move on to your positive self. Number 2, daily reprogram or program your subconscious mind with positive thoughts. So I like to call that self-affirmation, but also it can be positive thoughts regarding your goals. Every day, reaffirm to yourself that you have achieved a specific goal that is for the upcoming year. But remember, we don't talk about the future, we talk in matter of now, the present. So every day, program your subconscious mind with positive thoughts concerning your goals. You can do this, and I like to do this in the light state of meditation. I like to do slow, deep breath first. And again, this is my way of doing it. I do 3 or 4 slow, deep breath to the count of 4. So you would inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold your breath. And then exhale again to the count of 4. You do that about 3 or 4 times. I also like to use my aromatherapy spray. Yes, I do sell them because at least I know what's in it, and they all contain intentions. So I like when I do when I inhale, I smell my wrist. So the aromatherapy also helps to put you into a light state of meditation. Clear any noise around you. When you feel yourself calm, then you go into your positive thoughts regarding your goals and you repeat them. You can open your eyes, by the way, in a light state of meditation. It is perfectly okay. And finally, the 3rd key, which is a little bit more difficult for many people because they have not trained their mind to do it, is to actually reprogram your subconscious negative pattern through a deep meditation and through healing. This requires more details, and unfortunately, we are coming to the end of this podcast. I hope you have enjoyed it. Please like into the comments. I appreciate it. And please subscribe to the YouTube channel to support what I'm trying to do for everyone, which is helping everyone to achieve a higher quality of life because we all deserve it. So, like, subscribe, and please let me know how you are doing. Thank you for listening to Transform Now podcast on the spiritual, conscious, and subconscious mind.